Most people think the future will be powered by clean energy, electric cars, and artificial intelligence, but behind every battery, every smartphone, every missile and satellite is a financial empire built on some of the most dangerous, unstable materials on Earth. Rare earth metals. They're not actually rare. What's rare is the system required to mine, refine, and control them. A system so flawed that the entire global economy depends on suffering most people will never see. Today, rare earths power a multi-billion-dollar industry. But the real value isn't in the metals themselves, it's in the choke points, the bottlenecks, the places where a single country can control the entire supply chain. Right now, that country is China. China produces around 70% of the world's rare earth metals, but it controls nearly all of the processing, the step where the worthless dirt becomes valuable material. That means China can decide who gets the technology of the future and who doesn't. Markets know this, investors know this, and every time China even hints at export restrictions, tech stocks swing, defense companies panic, and governments start calculating the cost of losing access to the metals that keep modern life running. But the financial story gets darker, because the rare earth industry only works when labor is cheap and when environmental rules don't exist, and that has created one of the most exploitative supply chains in the world. In parts of Africa, Southeast Asia, and rural China, mining doesn't look anything like the polished brochures. Workers dig through radioactive mud with no protective gear, rivers turn black from chemical runoff, entire towns develop respiratory problems, and yes, children are pulled into the labor because it keeps costs low and profits high. This is the hidden price of clean energy, and it's the part of the supply chain major corporations do everything to avoid talking about. But here's the financial paradox. Even though the world needs more rare earth metals than ever, the countries that produce them barely benefit. The real profits flow to the companies that refine them, trade them, and build billion-dollar technology around them. In other words, the biggest winners aren't the miners, they're the investors who control the bottlenecks. That's why China, the US, and Europe aren't fighting over the mines. They're fighting over the processing plants, the refineries, the advanced magnets, and the technology built on top of these metals. And it's why the rare earth market is one of the most fragile financial systems on Earth. If a single major refinery shuts down, if a country imposes sanctions, if a mining region erupts into conflict, the entire tech economy, smartphones, military hardware, AI chips, instantly becomes more expensive. The clean energy revolution isn't clean, it's not stable, and it's not ready for the demand the world is creating. Rare earth metals built the modern world, but unless the global system changes, unless supply chains become ethical, diversified, and regulated, these same metals could be the reason the next financial crisis hits harder than anyone expects. Because the future doesn't run on sunshine and wind, it runs on a handful of toxic elements, controlled by a handful of powerful players, and extracted by people the world tries very hard not to think about. Thanks for watching. If you want more breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you in the next one.